a high school dropout who killed two people in a St. Petersburg convenience store robbery, captured on videotape. In August 2008, Mullens was accused of shooting and killing store owner Mohammed Udin and customer Ronald Hayward at a Foodmart about half a dozen blocks west of Tropicana Field. He also shot another man coming into the store, Albert Barton, who survived. During the robbery, Mullens removed the video recording system that he presumably thought was the only one in the store. He was wrong. A new surveillance system had just been set up, and it provided the clear footage that formed compelling evidence in the case. The video shows Mullens and the other man waving a handgun and forcing Udine to the floor. They demand his car keys and take lottery tickets. When Mullens sees Udine dialing the telephone, he shoots and kills him. Next, he grabs Hayward, swings him to the floor, and shoots him. Barton is outside the store and appears to be entering. Mullens yanks Barton inside and shoots at him. Barton falls, but fights back and survives. Mullens would flee the scene, but be apprehended a short time later. Mullens goes to court and pleads guilty to the murders in April. His plea amounted to a life or death gambit, but one that legal experts said was a sound one, given the overwhelming evidence against him. But if Mullens had taken his case to trial and been convicted, highly likely considering the video, a jury would have listened to more evidence during the second phase of the trial and recommended either death or life imprisonment. The jury's recommendation would not have been binding, but the judge would have been required to give it great weight. But in this case, Judge Federico listened to all the evidence himself that related to how Mullens should be sentenced. The decision was the judge's alone and marked the first time in his lengthy career that he imposed the death penalty. In this case, Federico found prosecutors had proven 3 aggravating factors and that Mullens' public defenders had established several mitigating factors, but he gave great weight to each aggravating factor and that they far outweighed the mitigating circumstances. Kadaffi Mullens, who was bipolar, smiled as he walked into the courtroom. During the proceedings, he at one point dropped his head as if nodding. Later, he seemed alert but showed no reaction as Federico sentenced him to death.
Well, we just came out of the courtroom maybe about a half hour ago, and Kadaffi Mullens was given the death penalty here by the judge. The judge said, based on all the factors in this crime, he said, and I quote, under Florida law, the defendant has forfeited his right to live. Now, Kadaffi Mullens sat in court sometimes smiling, other times looking down, as Judge Philip Federico ran through the events of August 2008. Mullens pled guilty and waived his right to a jury trial, so the decision of a life in prison sentence or the death penalty came down to the judge today. Mullens and an accomplice went to the Central Foodmart in St. Pete and during a robbery shot and killed the owner and another customer, then shot another customer, but that final customer lived. The violent crime was caught on surveillance camera, and that played a huge part in the sentencing today. Now, both Mullens' family and the victim's family were here in court today. We tried to talk to them afterwards, but both of them said they had no comment. Keep in mind, both of them have been waiting for 5 years here for a resolution in this case.